on the scene of, we're actually at the Zap2it offices with Joseph Morgan. I like it when you guys come to visit me and I don't have to go all the way to Atlanta. So I did just get back from Atlanta, and I talked to Paul a little bit about this very weird, twisted relationship that Stefan and Klaus have, and he said that there's almost a point where they're almost brotherly in a way. Is that, would you describe it that way?
Very much so, yeah. There's definitely the relationship moves on. It's not the same as it's not just me sort of dragging him around the whole time, and there's definitely some real points of connection that we'll see, you know, certainly by the third episode. So it's really exciting, and like anything, you know, it has to move on, it has to evolve, you know, we have to see layers to it. But yeah, there's certainly a side of him that can relate to Klaus, and vice versa. They
just showed a little clip of you guys on KTLA, and Klaus didn't look like he was having a ton of fun anymore.
No, it's true. Things do get a little difficult for Klaus, but that's nice for me as an actor because I get to sort of show a different side. I think almost all the way up to the end of the season, last season, everything went his way, and he was just sort of powering forward with this plan to break the curse. And so now we see what happens. We see a little vulnerability. You know, what happens when it gets a little more difficult for Klaus, you know?
The question is, you know, why he chose Stefan to be his wingman above Damon, above really anyone. He could have chosen anyone in the world.
Right.
Are we gonna find out a little more about that coming up?
We definitely are. I would say by the third episode, again, we're gonna find out a great deal of the reason as to why Klaus took Stefan, why he chose Stefan over Damon or you know, anyone else he could have had. And I've said before, I like to say like the first two episodes are sort of a standalone chapter, and then the third one we really start the season story for Klaus.
The third one is the 1920s flashback episode that everyone's so excited for.
That information's out.
It's out.
Yeah, I know. I was so excited to talk about that because I had such a good time on that episode, and then I wasn't sure. We did a whole load of interviews on the press line for the CW party the other day. I wasn't sure if I was allowed to mention that, but it was out. Great. Oh god, yeah, the costumes and everything. It was so much fun. The sets were incredible.
They built a whole new set for it.
They did, yeah. They built a whole new set, and it's just an era that I love anyway. So it really was fun. I mean, I've said it before, but that's the great thing about the show. We get to play all these periods as well as doing the modern day thing, so you know, and there's going to be a lot of flashbacks in this season as well, you know.
A century isn't really all that much time for Klaus. Has he? No. Are we going to see that he's evolved over this since the 20s? Is he different then?
Yes, I think so because of the relationship. Yeah, I think so because you know. You can meet someone who can change your life in the space of a year, you know, in the space of a month or a week. So I think if Klaus was just alone for all time, you know, locked in a room or something, maybe he wouldn't change much in the space of a century. But the people that he meets, that he influences and is influenced by, yeah, absolutely, he's changed a lot, I think, since then.
I think it's interesting that he didn't kill off his family, that he is sort of hoarding them like a creeper. Why do you think
hoarding them like a creeper? Yeah. I like that.
I mean, who has dead bodies like in a storage locker?
Yeah, it's a little.
Why do you think he held on to them? Why do you think he's keeping them close?
I think like Julie teased, this is going to be the season of the original, so we're going to learn a lot more about that family and the dysfunction that came with it, that is part of it. So I think part of it is Klaus's struggle, because he obviously wanted to get rid of his family, but also desperately wants to keep them close, which is probably the way a lot of people feel about their family, you know. He's just taken it to a more extreme level. So I think really it comes back to the human aspect that we're going to see in the character, you know. We're going to see something which is very human and something that we can all kind of relate to, even though it's done on a much more epic, vampiric scale.
It's always epic with Julie.
It's always epic, isn't it? I didn't realise that's the key word of the show.
It is. That's the buzzword.
Yeah.
There's definitely a theme to the show that, you know, with family being sort of your greatest weakness and your greatest strength. So would you say that we're going to see a softer side of Klaus when it comes to his family?
Definitely. definitely, 100%. We're going to see a softer side. We need to now as well. You know, we've seen him being all out evil and you know, strong and driven towards his goals, and I think if I continued to just play that, it would become very sort of two-dimensional. I think we need to empathise with him. We need to understand his motives behind his plan here, and why he keeps his family in boxes. You know?
Why he's a creeper.
So why is he hoarding his family like a creeper? So yeah, we're definitely going to see a more vulnerable, more soft, more human side of Klaus.
I know that he is sort of on this mission to create another little family by, you know, building up more hybrids and everything.
Absolutely.
Are we going to see Tyler brought into that? Because Tyler's the only other werewolf we've got so far.
It's true. I hope that he's going to have some interaction with all of the TVD cast, because last season I just got to work with sort of 3 or 4. I think I worked with Ian just for one day, and you know, Paul mostly for that one episode. A lot of it was Nina and Daniel, right? But yeah, I would hope so. I mean, surely, right? Because Klaus has to embrace his werewolf side as well, and like you say, Tyler's the only regular werewolf around. So yeah.
Speaking of working with Nina, Klaus at this point still thinks that Elena's dead, right?
Yes.
So how's that going to come into play? Is he going to be, I mean, does he care at this point? Is he going to be pissed off when he finds out that everything didn't go exactly as he thought it did?
I think so. He likes to get his way, doesn't he? He likes for things to go as he plans. So yeah, I think that's going to be a big deal for Klaus when he finds out that she's still alive, and inevitably he will, right? I mean, we've got 22 episodes to get us a...
I mean, we have to assume that you guys get back to Mystic Falls at some point, seeing as there's no, as of yet, there's no Ripper
weird
spin-off.
if we didn't, wouldn't it?
I know. So
I've been pushing for it though, the Ripper and the Hybrid on the road with Klaus and Stefan.
See, I would watch that show.
Yeah.
But what is it that, I mean, is it Elena that brings them back to Mystic Falls? Can you tease how they, you know, make their journey back around?
Yeah, I can say that it's to do with certainly with Stefan's ties that he still has to Mystic Falls, and I can say that it's not voluntary for him to go back.
I like that.
But not much of what he does at the moment is really,
no.
In my experience over the last few episodes anyway.
Poor Stefan.
I know, bless him.
Hard life. Are you and Paul having fun?
Yes, a tremendous amount of fun. I mean, he's really enjoying embracing the darker side of his character, you know, and I think it's time for him to, for Stefan to evolve as well, you know. And yeah, we're having a tremendous amount of fun.
I know you guys just hate each other off screen.
Hate each other. it's such a chore working with him. No, he's great. He's fantastic to work with. We're the only thing is we're drinking a lot of the blood.
Ugh.
So there's a
what
lot
is
of that
that
going
stuff?
on. It's you know, I think they make it from syrup and berry juice, and you know, we're living in an age now where it's all got to be organic, and it's all sort of, it's just a little strange to me. But
Ian's like making sure that it's all like, you know, local.
Oh, it's all fair trade and local
farm grown and fake blood.
Exactly. It's fun.
When I ask everyone on Twitter what their question is for you, they all want to know if there is a romance this season for Klaus, a romantic interest, and if it's Stefan.
I don't think it's going to be Stefan. I have to disappoint you. There's a bromance going on there, I'm sure, but I don't think there's going to be a romance. I really hope there is a romance this season. Julie's been teasing me about it. I'm not sure if she's serious or not yet, but I'm pushing for it. I think, again, it would be nice to see a different side of Klaus, you know, a more vulnerable, more romantic side, you know, so yeah, I really hope so.
Is there any of the characters on the show now, do you think that he could potentially, like, click with any of them, or do you think it would have to be someone totally new to match up to Klaus?
I don't know. You know, a lot of people have said to me, Catherine would be a good match for him, but he's just spent 500 years hunting her down, so I'm not sure how well that would work. I'd like to think that as he evolves, maybe he could relate to some of the others. I'm not sure how many of them are going to be willing to forgive him for the whole blood ritual sacrifice thing. They'd have to
You killed Aunt Jenna.
I know, I feel really bad about that.
I'm still a little mad at you. We'll get over it eventually.
I'm so sorry. But you know, we have ghosts on the show now, so I I'd hope that she'd come back at some point.
I hope so too.
I don't know anything about that, by the way, but I really hope so. I thought Sarah Canning was wonderful.
She's fantastic. I know you sort of talk about getting into the mood for Klaus rather. Do you listen to music before you go on set? Is there anything that that's particularly Klausy?
Yeah, I did a lot last season, just trying to find the character. I listened to some of the Requiem for a Dream soundtrack was really helpful. There was some music as well that was there was a few things. I listened to a bunch of Muse, Feeling Good, the Nina Simone cover that Muse did. I felt like that was kind of his theme song to step onto the TVD stage.
I like that.
But this season it's been I've still been listening to music, but it's changed slightly because he's also become a lot more vulnerable. So there's been a little bit of Anthony and the Johnsons actually in there. Yeah, because I think that he's sort of feeling a little more lonely and a little more kind of a little more human, maybe.
Less confident.
I don't know if less confident. He always has that kind of arrogance and confidence about him, but I think he needs something more. His life, the last 500 years, has been about breaking the curse, and now he's suddenly broken the curse. It's like, well, okay, what now? Where do we go from here? So it's changed a little bit, and also, the more I grow to be comfortable with the character, the less I need to find those triggers into it. The more I can just work on expanding it.
Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Always good to see you.
Love